Why do you think women have been so kind to you? Why do women want to show themselves naked?
Well, I'm not the only guy that, has this experience, This is what goes on between men and women. I don't want to break this news to you, Stina.
But it is not news either that you have this special gift, that there are an abundance of women who happily would do that for you.
Well, where are they now that we need them?
But I have a bunch of friends at home.
Well, my friends are gone and my hair is gray. I ache in the places where I used to play. And I'm crazy for love, but I'm not coming on.
Leonard Cohen, sångaren, textförfattaren, ikonen från 60-talet. Han drog sig tillbaka från rampljuset och försökte sig på livet som munk i 6 år. I Mount Baldy, ett buddhistiskt kloster utanför Los Angeles, där Roshi, en nu 94-årig japansk munk, har fungerat som hans mästare och lärare.
I've got whiskey.
Whiskey, please.
There, now you're talking.
Jag besökte honom i klostret för 4 år sedan och fick en inblick i ett okonventionellt men också stenhårt och disciplinerat munkliv.
Now, let's get down to business, kid.
Men Leonard Cohen lämnade klostret och nu bor han i Los Angeles igen, i ett hus han delar med sin dotter. Ny skiva har han också spelat in, så när vi ses i Paris så är han på alla sätt och vis tillbaka på Boogie Street.
Here is your card, your cardboard and piss. Here is your love for all this.
One of the wonderful things that happened to me up at Mount Baldy is that I discovered I had no religious aptitude, that I wasn't really a religious man, that I didn't have that gift, that I really didn't have the gift for that kind of life, although I love it in many ways.
So in a way you can say that you failed as a monk.
Yeah, thank God. Well, I think one of the qualities of that kind of life is to recognize that you fail. Young monks, young students come with very sublime religious aspirations, and those are quickly overthrown. I think everybody has that experience, both young and old, of an uncomfortable quality to one's life, a sense of defeat. And, that can either embitter you, as it does to some, or it can open your heart, as it does to other more fortunate people. I'm lucky to be one of those people.
But, so being back on Boogie Street?
It's very nice here. It's very nice on Boogie Street. But up there's Boogie Street too, It's, a monastery, the kind Roshi runs in any case, it's more like a hospital.
And he's the doctor.
And he's the doctor.
And what does he cure?
He cures the illusion that you're sick. And he was successful in my case. He cured the illusion that I needed his teachings.
So what were the sicknesses that you thought you had?
I guess the same sicknesses everybody has, that you don't get what you want, and if you do get it, it isn't what you wanted. The objects of your desire continually escape you. There's some wisdom, some path that if you could only embrace it, you could extract yourself from distress and suffering. All these aspirations that all of us nourish, that there's another life that would be better, that another way would be better, another lover would be better, another métier would be better. This idea that there's something to grasp.
And you were a victim of that illusion before?
I was a specialist.
You were a specialist. You were better than most of us. Because you had more of it. You had more of the fame, of the money, of the women, of the...
Maybe that's so. That's so. I think that everybody experiences the same kind of longing and dissatisfaction. I think it's...
No matter how much you have.
No matter how much you have. I don't know if it's any more bitter when you have a lot than when you have little. I don't think we have a standard to be able to judge who's suffering more, but I think we can take it for granted that everybody suffers a sense of something left undone, unfelt, unexperienced. And mostly it's in the West, where we don't experience famine and other kinds of natural disasters as often. It usually is on the level of the heart. We don't feel we love enough or have enough love.
I don't like your fashion business, mister. And I don't like these drugs that keep you thin. I don't like what happened to my sister. First, we take Manhattan. Then we take Berlin.
How do you cope with that discipline, the rules and the regulations of the monastery?
Well, it's lovely to sleep in past 3 o'clock in the morning, That's a delicious feeling. Although I often get up at 3 just out of habit. But that kind of discipline I never lacked. I was always disciplined in regard to my work. It was the wider sense of a life, and I put on a pretty good show. I mean, my cover story was pretty good. It looked like my life was orderly because it revolved around writing and recording. But the interior sense I had was of deep disorder. I'd been drinking a lot. On tour, I tend to drink and sing, which is a nice part of the whole process. But I'd gone overboard a bit. And I was at loose ends, and I needed some kind of form. And they got that in spades. First time I came here, I was in real trouble. The head monk was German. And you waking me up very, very early in the morning. We were building this dining hall over there and or repairing it, and there were no windows, and the snow would come in over your rice, and you'd be walking through the ice in sandals, and they'd be beating you in the zendo. And I thought,
Why beating you?
well, it appeared to be beating me at that time. When you'd fall asleep or you'd doze, your posture would decay. They'd come over with a stick. I'll show you that stick, and they strike you very sharply, twice on either shoulder. It felt like getting beaten to me. Anyways, it all seemed like the revenge of World War II. They'd gotten a bunch of American kids up here and were torturing them to death. I didn't want any part of it, so.
Suzanne takes you down to her place near river. You can hear the boats go by. You can spend the night beside her. And you know she's half crazy, but that's why you wanna be there. And she feeds you tea and oranges that come all the way from China. And just when you mean to tell her that you have no love to give her.
My association with the community, of course, doesn't end. I see Roshi a lot. In fact, he was down in Los Angeles. He wasn't feeling well, so I made him the chicken soup that he likes. So I
The old Jewish kind of chicken soup?
yeah, my mother's recipe. Yeah. I guess the only difference is that I skin the chicken first before I boil it, because just to remove a bit of the fat. But more or less the same. And Roshi doesn't really like garlic.
No?
No, he doesn't like garlic.
Oh, what a pity.
Yeah, well.
When you're the cook.
Nobody's perfect.
But were you afraid to tell Roshi that you were going to leave the monastery?
I wasn't afraid, but I was concerned.
Did you think he was going to get disappointed?
Well, he granted me permission very reluctantly. We had dinner, a formal dinner, all the monks, all the senior monks were there. And after they left, he said to me, Chikan, when you left, half of me died.
But you have a very, very deep and close relation.
I love him.
Is there anyone that you love more than him?
It's easier to love having had that relationship with Roshi, because that's what he's all about. It's not a sentimental love, it's a kind of impersonal love. What Roshi loves in you is not necessarily who you think you are, but what you really are. He loves that and allows you through that love to locate it. I think that's the most selfless kind of love. He loves what you really are.
Can you love somebody for who she or he really is?
Well, it's not really in your hands, you know. That understanding deepens slowly. I think as you get older.
Yeah, you're still young in these matters.
Yeah, and I think love is all overlooking. I think to love you have to overlook everything. You know, you have to forget about most things.
And forgive.
And forgive, yeah.
Dance me to the wedding now, dance me on and on. Dance me very tenderly and dance me very long. We're both of us beneath our love, we're both of us above. Dance me to the end of love. Dance me to the end of love.
You've written some poems in the monastery. One of my favorites is very short. I don't know if you would like to read it.
Oh,
I think you probably know it.
the
by heart.
sweetest little song, but I like the drawing, huh? The sweetest little song. You go your way, I'll go your way too. Yeah, I think that is the kernel of a love poem. That is the sweetest thing you can hear from someone. The Japanese, I think Roshi told me, I don't know if it's a Japanese saying, but he has a saying, husband and wife drinking tea. Your smile, my smile. Your tears, my tears. I guess it's the description of a real union.
But are you a better lover today?
You know, I'm very grateful because some kind of relaxation overtook me. when I realized I was no longer a religious seeker. It's not so much that I got what I was looking for, but the search itself dissolved. And with that came this sense of relaxation. And when one is, I don't get bummed out and frustrated, but the background is somehow relaxed now.
I think your sense of humor has developed a lot. A lot of the new poems are very...
Some of them are funny, yeah.
They're very funny.
Yeah. My friends always thought I had a sense of humor. I got the reputation, and I think it's not altogether illegitimate, because my songs were about stressful conditions, sometimes with no resolution. I think a lot of them had a dark feeling. I hope that the writing of the song penetrated the darkness somehow, but for a lot of people it didn't. So I understand that I got labeled as a depressed, pessimistic sort of guy.
Well, but you were not.
No, I wasn't.
No.
No.
I think you said or wrote somewhere that you wanted to kind of keep a diary of your life. You wanted to report.
It seems to be the nature of the work as a kind of diary keeper, kind of journal keeper.